All right, so I think this peach is ready to pick. Maybe we'll see if, maybe we'll get Jackson, get one of the kids to come pick it. Hey Jackson, you want to pick that peach? Remember where it is? Down there on that one. The second one down there. Do you see it there? Came off easy?
Yeah.
What does it look like? Good? Want to go cut it up?
Okay.
Good one, eh? Alright. It's so soft. It'll be good. Look at that. Alright. Gosh, look, it's so soft to like squish it. This be good. Good one. I'll eat the squished one. This is the best peach I've ever had. Yeah. Are you okay if I record you eating it? Good, eh? Oh, alright. Easy. Oh my god, I got 2 little slices gone. And that's why you plant fruit trees when you have kids. Alright, so I haven't been down here in a while. This is the Wetland Guild. Most of my attention has been going towards building and making, you know, the really, really nice pond area better. And this lower wetland area, I've just let go wild. This is maybe the 3rd time I've been down here all season long. I've been so busy doing other things. So it's going to be very overgrown, but maybe we'll, I mean, hopefully the peaches and haskcaps are still alive. I would like to check on the persimmon. I dug up a persimmon and put it down here, hopefully, hoping that it would overwinter because of the constant flow of water, would keep the localized area around the persimmon, you know, a little warmer than just out in the -40°C winter nights that I can get here. It is like a sea of green. I can't even see the water, but you can hear it. So you can hear the water in there. And like I have some big stone in here. I have big stone in here. This area here, holy, this watercress is just amazing. The growth that this puts on. Like, look, this is a huge stone. This whole area. These are some of the biggest stones I've ever actually lifted. So I have got some serious biomass that I can harvest. So this is just like, you know, wheelbarrow full of biomass. So I think maybe what we'll do this weekend, be an interesting video, is I have this source of fertility coming into my land, this artesian well, and it's one of the things that I'm going to probably do a video on things you should look for in a new property buy, really good assets to look for. An artesian well is probably, it's got to be the top, probably the single top thing that you could look for in any property. Artesian well or a flowing stream. So this artesian well, it's bringing nutrient into my land all the time from way up the county. So that nutrient captured into biomass now, before it winds its way down and exits my land, this water flow, is now being turned into biomass. So I should actually be much better at harvesting this nutrient, turning it into compost, and then returning that to my more prized and valued areas like the pond. It's a really, really handy way of taking that nutrient from the water that would leave my land, turning it into biomass before it goes, and then using that biomass and returning that into my land. And this same philosophy can be done if you have a lower area where your watershed will naturally exit your land. Right at that lower area, dig a nice big pond or a swale and capture and store any water that wants to leave your land, turn it into plants, and then take the plants back upgrade, uphill to your gardens. So it's a way that you can capture every last nutrient drop that wants to leave your land and maximize the fertility on your land. Okay, so let me back up here. Okay, so this is just walking down the path, and I hit something that I don't like seeing, is that we've got a break in the actual bed here. So this is coming from inside this water stream. So the stream kind of S's and snakes around like this. So that means that somewhere here is built up so much with this watercress that it's blocking the flow of water. Oh, I just stepped right in the pond. So it's actually, this watercress is growing so much, and you can see more of the rock. So it's growing so much that it's actually blocked the outflow of this little channel. Let me see if I can dig this. Oh my gosh, this is crazy. Like it's just a mat of roots that have grown and blocked this outflow. And it's probably, it's gotta be a foot thick of those roots. Holy, like just look, it's just, so this has blocked the outflow, raised the level back here, and then now it's overflowed. So this is what happens, I guess, when you neglect. It'll find it the shortest way down. The unfortunate thing for that is that peaches are not swamp trees. So this peach is somehow surviving in this constant flow 24/7. So it's got lots of water, all the water it can want. It's actually doing surprisingly okay in that situation. Pretty resilient tree, but we'll sort this out. I should have come down here well before this time here. One kind of neat thing though is also that we do have some strawberries that are happily growing inside flowing water. This one maybe not happily growing, but it is growing. So there is strawberries in there that are holding on. They're not running very much. This cutting, so there's a cutting I did. So this one's not really gonna take. It's literally standing in water. So that got drowned out. Not huge losses. Oh, and look at this. There's the persimmon. So this is really exciting. So this persimmon has died every single winter and regrown from the root. So this year I'd dug it up, or I guess last fall, I dug it up and I transplanted it here along this wetland area, hoping that maybe it'll survive. So you can actually see here, this is the old tree. It got roughly this big. Let me see if I can get a better look at that. See, so it got roughly that big. One year totally died. I was gonna throw it out and I thought, you know what, I'll just chop it off and see what happens. And then we got a new growth coming from here. So we've got some kind of growth. It seems to be alive and doing quite well. So it'll be interesting. We'll see if it overwinters another winter here. So it did survive this winter, just as roots, but now it'll be a tree. It'll drop its leaves and will survive, and we'll see if we'll get any growth, you know, from the previous year's wood, or if this will all die and it'll just regrow from the stump each year. It might be pushing the zone a little too much. I can maybe fill it with rock all around. I can try to burlap it, but the idea here is that we're cutting wind down from all the large trees around. This is north right here, so any north winds are kind of getting blocked. They're only coming in here, not too much of a big deal, and there's a corridor here, so it's probably just flowing down that corridor. And it's also sunken down a little bit, so the wind will kind of flow up and over. So it's blocked from northern winds, and then there's the thermal mass of the water. And it's not just standing water, it's flowing water 24/7. So that's the idea of this microclimate, to maybe push the zone a little bit on this persimmon, and I think it's working so far, which is good. But I think my other peach died. It should be, if I follow this. It's so like this is how overgrown it is. It's just, it's crazy the growth that you get with water. So this is actually the peach here. So it's still alive as well, surrounded by jewelweed. So this is actually a very useful plant as well. It likes very wet areas. You can take, this is called jewelweed. You can take the leaves if you get a sting or anything like that, or poison ivy. You can crush it up and then put it on the poison ivy, and it'll relieve the itchiness. So it's actually a useful plant. And this peach is doing pretty good. If I clear this away. So this is a yellow, this is the frost peach, and then the other one over here, that one is Reliance, I believe. So this one is doing pretty good. Pretty happy. It's put on some good growth. You can see kind of this year's growth coming from in there. So it was just to here, and then it put on, I mean, this one here is probably 2.5 to 3 feet of growth. That's pretty nice. So it's getting up and over the jewelweed. It'll be pretty happy in here, actually. It'll be happy surrounded by jewelweed. It's got all the nutrients it wants through the water, so it's just a photosynthesis battle for that peach. And it's up and above, and it's winning it. So we might leave this peach a little crowded, as crazy as that might sound to you know, a backyard traditional orchardist. They would say clear all that around, but the peach seems pretty happy to me. As far as biomass harvesting for that compost pile, we can harvest some of this here, the Jerusalem artichoke patch. Last year I filled 4 bins full, and I probably could have filled more. And I ate 2 of them. I have 1 in the garage still that they all started sprouting, so they're kind of no good anymore. So that kind of gives you an idea of how long they last. They'll last till roughly June, July of the next season. And then they'll actually start sprouting and growing again. You can still eat them, but anyways. And then I gave a tub to actually one of the subscribers who lives close by. So I can harvest quite a few of these Jerusalem artichokes. The flowers are going to be really nice, but that's a lot of biomass. I can kind of thin it out and make a huge, add it to that huge compost pile.